I refused to move my wedding date for my sister, so my parents boycotted the ceremony. They said I was selfish for not changing the date. I thought it ended there, until they tried using my baby to force their way back in. I always thought I had a decent family. Not perfect, who does? But supportive enough. When I proposed to Olivia after 5 years together, everyone seemed genuinely happy for us. My parents congratulated us with warm smiles. My younger sister Madison squealed like it was her engagement. Even my brother Ethan, who usually communicates in shrugs, fist bumped me and said, "About time, man." It felt balanced. For once, I thought everything was aligned. Olivia and I spent weeks planning the wedding. We didn't want anything grand, just personal. So we picked a meaningful date, the anniversary of our first kiss, exactly 6 years to the day. It wasn't just cute nostalgia, we talked about it since year 2. It was ours. I remember the exact moment it cracked. We were at Sunday dinner at my parents'. I told them the date and beamed, expecting the usual happy chatter. Madison froze mid-bite. "Wait," she said, narrowing her eyes. "That's the weekend of the Napa trip." "What Napa trip?" I asked, confused. She rolled her eyes. "My annual girls' weekend. We've done it 5 years in a row. You seriously want me to miss that for your wedding?" I actually laughed. Thought she was joking. She wasn't. My mom chimed in. "Maybe you two can pick another date? You know how important that trip is for Madison's mental health." I looked at Olivia. Her lips tightened, but she said nothing. She didn't want to make a scene. "But it's our anniversary," I said slowly. "We've had this date in mind for years." Mom sighed, setting her fork down like I'd just caused a national emergency. "It's just a date, sweetheart. Family should come first." That stung deep. Because in that moment, I realized something I'd been ignoring my whole life. In my family, some people mattered more than others. Madison mattered more. And for once, I wasn't going to bend. "I'm not changing it," I said firmly. "We're getting married that weekend. I hope you'll all be there." The silence around the table wasn't shock. It was disappointment, like I'd failed some unspoken test of obedience. That night, Olivia took my hand as we lay in bed and whispered, "I'm proud of you." And that's when I knew this wasn't just about a wedding. It was about finally standing up to a family that only valued me when I didn't inconvenience them. I thought setting a boundary would be the hard part. I was wrong. The hard part was what came after. It started subtly. Ethan texted me a few days later, casually mentioning that his company retreat was the same weekend as our wedding. "No big deal," he said. "But maybe pick a weekend that works for everyone." Everyone. Like our wedding was a group project. I didn't reply. Olivia said nothing either, but I could tell she was holding back tears. Not because she cared about Ethan's retreat, but because she saw it, too. My family wasn't just disappointed. They were organizing. The next family dinner was unbearable. My mom wore her most strange smile. My dad barely looked up from his plate. Madison, of course, was the star of the evening, chatting about spa packages in Napa like nothing else in the world could matter. Then came the pivot. "I just don't understand why you're being so stubborn," my mom said after dessert. "It's not like we're asking for much." "Yes, you are," I replied. "You're asking me to move my wedding so Madison doesn't miss her vacation." "It's not just Madison," she said, voice softening into that manipulative syrup I knew too well. "Ethan has work. Your father's back isn't great for travel. You know how stressful these things are. We just want everyone to be able to celebrate together." Celebrate. That word hung in the air like a joke. Madison chimed in next. "I never thought my brother would care more about a date than his own family." That one hit. Olivia grabbed my hand under the table. I could feel how tense she was, how much she wanted to say something, but she held back, for me. Later that night, we sat on the couch in silence. I was replaying it all in my head, wondering if maybe I was the problem. Maybe I was being too rigid. Then Olivia spoke. "This isn't about the date. They're testing how far they can push you." Again. And she was right. My entire life, I'd been the easy one. The flexible one. The peacekeeper. I didn't stir things up. I didn't argue. I let them have their way, even when it hurt. But this time, it wasn't just about me. It was about the life I was building with Olivia. And that life didn't need to revolve around my family's comfort anymore. So I sent a message in the family group chat the next morning. The wedding is staying on the original date. We'd love for you to be there. But we understand if you can't make it. Simple. Direct. No room for debate. The responses trickled in like cold rain. Ethan left the chat. Madison posted a cryptic story on Instagram about fake loyalty. And my mom called Olivia, not me, crying. I wasn't surprised. I was just done. For the first time, I didn't try to fix it. The morning of our wedding, I woke up with this odd sense of calm. Not happiness. Not nerves. Just stillness. Like my body knew this day wouldn't go the way I'd always imagined, but it would still be ours. Olivia looked stunning. Her parents were glowing. Her sisters had been helping with everything, centerpieces, playlists, even wrangling last-minute RSVPs. It wasn't their job, but they did it without hesitation. I watched her dad tear up as he straightened his tie, saying, "I can't believe my girl's getting married today." That kind of love? That warmth? I'd never seen it in my own family. The ceremony was held in a little garden venue just outside town. Perfect weather. Not a cloud in sight. Every seat was filled, except 3. Front row. Left side. Reserved signs with my parents' names and my siblings. Empty. I stood at the altar, hand in Olivia's, and stared at those seats as we said our vows. Not out of longing, but as a reminder. A reminder that no matter how much you love someone, you can't make them show up. Not if they never intended to. We kissed. The crowd clapped. Music started. And just like that, the most important day of my life began without the people who raised me. Halfway through the reception, my cousin Brianna pulled me aside. She looked uncomfortable. "Your mom gave this to me," she said, handing me a cream-colored envelope. "Told me to wait until after the ceremony." Inside was a folded check and a note. "We hope you learn the value of family someday. Mom and Dad." No. Congratulations. No apology. Just a check, like love could be bought. Like my wedding was some failed transaction. I didn't tell Olivia. I just slid it into my pocket and moved on. I wasn't going to let them hijack my joy. The rest of the night was magic. Our first dance was clumsy and sweet. Olivia's dad gave a speech that had the whole room laughing and crying in equal measure. Her mom hugged me like I'd been her son for years. And as we left under a shower of sparklers, Olivia whispered, "This is our real family now." She was right. I didn't need my parents' approval. I didn't need Madison's dramatics or Ethan's silence. I had love. Real love. And for the first time in my life, I didn't feel like I owed anyone an explanation. But I knew my family wasn't done with me yet. They never let things end quietly. The first 4 days of our honeymoon were heaven. We flew to a quiet island off the coast of Greece. No tourist traps, no noise, just whitewashed villas and sunrises over the water. Olivia's phone stayed off. Mine too. We promised we wouldn't let anything or anyone intrude on our peace. But on day 5, we turned them back on. Within minutes, the illusion cracked. My phone vibrated nonstop. Messages from numbers I didn't recognize. Tags on Facebook. Screenshots forwarded by friends. Our wedding had turned into a battleground, and we weren't even in the country. The family group chat was exploding. Madison had gone scorched earth, calling out every relative who attended our wedding for taking sides. She posted a long, unhinged Facebook status about being abandoned by blood, painting herself as the victim of a cruel and exclusionary brother. People, mostly her friends, flooded the comments with support. My mom doubled down. Her post was more passive-aggressive, a throwback photo of me as a toddler with the caption, "Some people forget where they come from. But mothers never forget." What really hit, though, were the private messages. My Aunt Karen apologized for showing up to the wedding. My cousin Tyler said he was being pressured to take a side. Ethan, who hadn't said a word since he left the group chat, finally chimed in. This is getting out of hand. But maybe if you just picked a different date, it wouldn't have come to this. I stared at the screen, stunned. Not angry, just exhausted. Olivia sat beside me in a white robe, reading from her phone, expression unreadable. Then she looked at me and said, calm as ever, "We're on our honeymoon. We're not interested in this drama." That one sentence snapped me back to reality. I muted the group chat, archived the Facebook notifications, blocked Madison and my mom for the first time in my life. My hands didn't even shake. Because this wasn't an isolated incident. This was a lifetime of small manipulations, now screaming in public. And I was done. Olivia and I walked down to the beach. We swam until the sun dipped below the horizon. I felt lighter with every passing hour. Freer. They wanted me to feel guilty. To feel torn. But I felt something else entirely, relief. They'd drawn a line in the sand, and I finally decided not to cross it. For 3 months, silence. No messages. No calls. Just peace. Olivia and I moved into a new apartment closer to her parents. Her dad helped us paint the nursery, even though there wasn't a baby on the way yet. He just liked the idea of being ready. Her mom dropped off homemade meals every Thursday. It felt like a new life. One that didn't require constant emotional acrobatics. Then the envelope came. A thick, embossed wedding invitation. White gold trim. Delicate cursive. Madison and Ryan. Together with their families. No mention of the last year. No apology. Just a date, a time, a location, and a note scrawled on the back in familiar handwriting. I forgive you. Hope you're ready to be mature again. I almost laughed. Forgive me? Olivia read it, sighed, and tossed it on the counter. So this is the part where they pretend nothing happened. A week later, Madison texted. It would mean a lot if you were there. We're family. Let's not drag old drama into a new chapter. Followed by a carefully worded message from my mom. Olivia would look so elegant in a soft blue dress. I know you both want to move forward. They didn't want reconciliation. They wanted performance. Attendance. Photos for Facebook. Proof that the family image hadn't fractured. When I didn't respond, Madison upped the ante. We'll have an open bar and a vegan menu, just like your wedding. You'll feel right at home. Olivia stared at her phone, then said, She thinks your boundary was a phase. She wasn't wrong. The final message came 2 days before the RSVP deadline. Look. I'm being the bigger person here. I'm inviting you even after everything. I forgive you. Just don't embarrass yourself by staying bitter. That was the last straw. I responded with one sentence. I thought you didn't believe in missing Napa for weddings. Then I booked a beach cabin for the same weekend. Sent the reservation confirmation to Olivia with the caption. Our kind of celebration. We toasted that night with cheap wine and bare feet on the balcony. No apologies. No guilt. Just a quiet understanding, we'd made it out. Together. And whatever family looked like in the future, it would be nothing like the one I was born into. Madison's wedding went ahead without us. We didn't even check the date until it had already passed. But apparently, our absence was the main event. 2 days later, Olivia's friend forwarded her a screenshot of Madison's newest Facebook post, a black and white photo from her wedding day captioned. Some people choose ego over family. I chose love. The comments were predictable. Friends validating her bravery. Distant relatives asking vague questions. And then the DMs started trickling in again, this time from people who had been at both weddings. One read. Your sister was glued to her phone all night, talking about how fake your relationship is. It was weird. Another said. She gave a speech about forgiveness and second chances. Everyone knew it was about you. It was uncomfortable. I didn't care anymore. Not really. But Olivia noticed something I didn't. She's not angry you didn't come. She's angry you're not begging to come back. She was right. The narrative was collapsing. The image of a perfect family, Of Madison as the center, of me as the quietly obedient brother, all gone. And the more I refused to play my old part, the more desperate they got. That's when Ethan finally reached out. He asked to meet. Just coffee. No drama. I hesitated, but I went. He looked rough. More tired than I'd ever seen him. I think, he said slowly, stirring his untouched drink, we handled all of that, badly. That was the closest thing to an apology I'd get. I knew it wasn't about the wedding, he continued. It was about control. And honestly, I admired that you pushed back. I just didn't have the guts to say it at the time. I nodded. I didn't gloat. I just let it sit. Then he added, You know Madison's already separated from Ryan? 3 months in. I blinked. Yeah, he said. But don't expect them to talk about it. They're pretending it's fine. That didn't surprise me. My family had always been better at pretending than healing. When I got home, I told Olivia everything. She didn't say much. Just nodded, then asked, You ready to block them now? And I was. I blocked Madison. My mom. Even my dad, who never picked a side but always watched in silence. I wasn't angry. I was just done. I used to think cutting family off was cruel. But now, I saw it for what it really was, survival. Peace. A necessary ending. Because sometimes, the only way to move forward is to stop looking back. 3 years later, Olivia handed me the ultrasound photo with shaking hands. You're going to be a dad, she whispered. I laughed, and cried all at once. It felt like a new chapter had opened, one I never thought I'd reach without dragging my past into it. But then the messages started again. First from a number I didn't recognize. We heard the news. Congratulations. A baby changes everything. Maybe it's time to come home. Then a handwritten card showed up in our mailbox. No return address. Just 4 words in my mother's handwriting. Let's be a family. She'd somehow found out. Olivia was 6 months pregnant when the final push came, a Facebook event invite. Surprise family reunion, baby edition. The cover photo? An old picture of me as a baby. The caption read, Some bridges are worth rebuilding. Forgiveness is love. My hands shook with rage and disbelief. We hadn't told anyone outside our circle. There were no public announcements. No posts. Nothing. They'd never changed, only shifted tactics. From punishment to pity. From guilt to emotional blackmail. And now, they were trying to use our child as a way back in. I stared at Olivia across the room. She rubbed her belly and smiled, humming to the tiny kicks beneath her hand. She was glowing. I would not let them touch this piece. I sat down and wrote one message. The last they'd ever receive from me. If you try to use my child to manipulate your way back into my life, you will never see any of us again. Consider this your final warning. Do not contact me, my wife, or our child. Ever. Then I blocked every number. Every email. Deleted every thread. Burned every bridge with the fire they lit first. And for the first time in my life, I felt free. Our daughter was born in spring. Olivia held her first. I held them both. We named her June, for the month everything in our life had bloomed. As I stood in that hospital room, watching my daughter breathe for the first time, I thought about all the things I wanted to pass on to her. Love. Peace. And the lesson that family isn't about obligation, it's about who shows up, who respects you, who lets you be whole. I'm not bitter. I'm just done shrinking to fit someone else's version of loyalty. My daughter will never know what it feels like to earn love through silence. She'll grow up in a home where love doesn't come with strings. That's the legacy I'm building now. And that, finally, is enough.